Cupid Parasite. Sweet and spicy darling.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Glad I checked my volumes. My volume for the game was very low. Well, it's been 2 weeks, I think, since my last video. Forgot how to access the bonus episodes. There we go. We're going to be doing purple Allan. We're going to be doing Allan's bonus episodes today. I feel kind of bad that I didn't record anything last week, but with a week at Universal Studios, like, I was extremely exhausted. They had already kind of trained me to wake up at 6 a.m. At the hotel, so waking up at 6 a.m. this week wasn't that, 7 a.m. wasn't that big of a deal, but I still haven't trained my body to go to bed at midnight at least. So I still don't get very many hours of sleep because I still stay up till like 2 at the latest. 2 is about as far as I can last. I haven't got my sleep on a very good schedule yet, and that's what's disabling me from really recording at night. I need to start getting my kids to bed sooner because they start school in a couple weeks themselves. But yeah, they've just been around me a lot. So when they like leave the living room, I've just been kind of just having time to myself at night. So that hasn't really left me any room for recording because I just kind of do whatever I want, which has been playing phone games. Mostly Love in Deep Space. But yeah. We are finishing up the series so I can mark it off as complete on my playlist. That'll give me great satisfaction. And then I can finally focus on just one game and finally get into Lusted. You people have been like waiting for Lusted. I am deeply sorry that you've had to wait this long for him. I feel really bad. I want to get into him too. He looks like a good character, a fun character anyway. Allan, enough said. Several days after arriving in hell, Lynette and I were drinking at Claire's home again. Ah, yes. The very pink room. But...
もう一杯。次はソルティドッグ。
Claire had been drinking so much that she nearly passed out. While sprawled out on the counter, she was waving around her empty glass. Counter. Oh my goodness. I think you've had enough, Clarice.
平気よ平気。ほらアラン作って。
変わらないな。でもこれ以上は俺も水にしといた方がいいと思うけど。
だって昨日のカーリー失敗しちゃったんだもん。はあ、まさか私がいるところに彼女が来ちゃうなんて誤算よ。おかげで夢も食べそびれちゃった。
Oh, you can't eat dreams when someone else is present.
そういうわけじゃないわ。でもなんていうか気分が上がらないのよ。だってその男ったら私を追い出して彼女とし始めちゃうんだもん。そんな男の夢入りたくない。だからほらアラン作って。モスコミュールでもカルーアミルクでも何でもいいから。
Oh, she's asleep now. She just falls asleep.
仕方ないな。クラリスは寝かせて、俺たちも家に帰ろうか。
Okay. I peeled the glass from Clarice's finger and took her to bed. I thought she took her.
もうクラリスちゃんは立派な悪魔なんだから。
ほんと。 酒癖も男癖も変わらないな。俺を拾ってくれた母さんは。
Several centuries ago, this demon became my protector, and she hadn't changed a bit. If she had an unsuccessful hunt, she'd drown her sorrows in alcohol and cry herself to sleep. But the following day, she'd be completely fine, ready to chase after men once more. That's how I'd been able to remain the same too. I'd committed crimes so I could be reunited with the girl I loved most. Back then I resented the gods. Because of them, I lost the other half of my soul to a place I could never reach. I wished to see her again. I would never forgive the gods that tore us apart. With that wish in mind, I kept reaching towards the sky. And the sky vanished. I was expelled from heaven, deprived of my wings, and became a fallen angel. I was no longer an angel. Heaven was out of my reach. Though I was aware of that, I couldn't face it. There was only one name that I longed to call, but I could not voice it. I called out the name I knew her by and closed my eyes. If I were to say my first words, I wished that it would be her name. All I could do was cry. I wanted to talk with her. I wanted to laugh with her. I wanted to hear her voice. But I was no longer an angel. Now that she was a god, her voice would forever be out of my reach. You didn't have voices back then. And before I knew it, I had fallen into this dark place. Where was I? It was dark. It was cold. This place must have been what they called hell. I thought I understood, but my mind rejected the idea. I'd been an angel just moments before. All that had changed was the loss of my wings. My wings were taken from me just for rebelling against the gods. That was all it took for me to become a demon.
Yada.
The next feeling that overwhelmed me was rejection. I rejected the world. I rejected my tainted body. I rejected the reality that she was no longer in my life.
あら、この子かわいい。やった、当たり。
I noticed a female demon approaching me. I responded out of reflex.
寄るな。汚らしい悪魔め。
Having a voice still felt unfamiliar, but the words flowed easily. I hated just how quickly I'd been able to adapt.
ちょっと失礼ね。汚らわしい悪魔って何よ。こんなにクラリスちゃんは可愛いのに。それよりあなた、もしかして堕天使でしょ？さっき空から何か落ちてくるなって思って見に来たのよ。
堕天使。
That was the best description. A fallen angel. Was I not a demon yet?
堕天使って噂には聞いてたけれど、見るのは初めて。結構可愛い顔してるのね。他の悪魔とは大違い。ほらほら、堕天使ちゃん。この優秀な悪魔のクラリスが面倒見てあげるわ。一緒に立派な悪魔になりましょう。
Embracing demonhood meant I'd have to discard my angelic past, which I shared with her. That was the only thing that had tied us together. Not wanting to lose her, I shook my head and froze in place. She wasn't an angel anymore either. She'd become a god, my beloved other half. Clinging to my former identity seemed pointless.
悪魔になれば深海や天界へ行けるのか。
深海と天界って何？
神や天使がいる場所だ。空の上のまた向こうにある。あそこに行かなきゃいけないんだ。
Hoping to save her, I gazed upwards, knowing she was there. But I couldn't see it from where I was. Without wings, I couldn't fly. I was dejected by my own powerlessness.
そっか。天使が落ちてくる以上、そういう場所もあるわよね。へえ、行ったことないからわからないかも。でも気になるなら連れて行ってあげよっか。
本当か？
私も気になるし、その深海ってとこ。
Though she'd agreed to it so quickly, we were ignorant. The air of Celestia was poisonous to demons.
これ無理だから戻るわよ。
嫌だ。俺は行くんだ。一人でいい。
As we approached, I could sense the dense aura of the gods and felt completely suffocated. But I tried to ignore it. Releasing Claris's hand, I desperately reached towards the sky. Instinctively, I tried flapping my non-existent wings. I thought he had at least one wing. But I lost balance and began to plummet. I saw Claris far above me, looking at me with panic.
ってバカ！あなた翼がまだ生えてないこと忘れてるでしょう。ああ、もう世話の焼ける打天使ちゃんね。ほら、捕まって。
And so we returned to hell. Recalling how the air of Celestia had felt in my lungs, I curled up with my arms around my knees and bit my lip. The air was supposed to be invigorating, but to me it had felt the opposite. The pride I had as an angel was completely gone. All I could do now was curse the gods.
まさかあんなに深海ってとこの空気がやばいとはね。あんなところに悪魔が行くなんて自殺行為よ。
なら俺は悪魔にならない。
いや、ならないって言ってもね、もうなってるから。打天使ちゃんって呼んでるけど、実際は低級悪魔だから。
Lesser demon, I hated the way that sounded.
だからぼやぼやしてると上級悪魔が来て。
I must have looked pitiful because the female demon Clara suddenly looked at me in a more gentle way.
ごめん。あなたもここに来たばかりで心細かったわよね。大丈夫よ、安心して。悪魔の暮らしも悪いものじゃないから。
I didn't care if life as a demon was good or bad. I didn't want to be a demon, but I also didn't want to stay as an angel. All I wanted was to free her. I didn't want the gods to have her. If that was possible, I didn't care what I was or what I would become. But all of these desires were futile because I couldn't go to Celestia. I looked down, trying to hold back tears. Clarice placed her hand on her hips and sighed deeply.
とにかくさっきので分かったでしょ。深海の空気は悪魔に悪いからあなたには戻れない。悪魔になった自分を受け入れられないって気持ちは分かるんだけれど、でもこのままじゃ食べられちゃうわよ。
食べられる？
悪魔はね、人間や悪魔を食べて生きてるの。打点したばかりの低級悪魔は弱いから、食欲旺盛な悪魔の餌食になりやすいのよ。だから私が来てあげたの。食べられないよう保護するために。
どうして？
I was about to ask her why she would do that, but I realized. She just said that demons ate other demons. Clarice burst out laughing when she saw me looking wary, thinking that she was going to eat me.
そんな顔しなくても食べたりしないわよ。だってクラリスちゃんはサキュバスだもん。主食は人間の夢なの。で、あなたは多分インキュバスよ。私と同種の匂いがするもん。
インキュバス。
人間の夢を食べる男の悪魔の名前よ。よかったわね。人間食べずに済みそうで。同種が生まれるのは珍しいから、こうして迎えに来てあげたの。他の悪魔に食べられる前にね。それに私、子供とか欲しかったし。
I've always wanted a kid.
子供？
That's funny.
悪魔は子供を作れないんだもん。でも子育てってちょっと楽しそうじゃない？だから ちょうど動詞だしいいかなって思って。ってことで打天使ちゃん、私の子供にならない？
Do you want to be my kid? This demon, age unknown, held out her hand to me. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't puzzled, but I wanted to learn more about demons. I didn't know if I'd be able to figure it out on my own. I just learned that the air of Celestia was like poison for demons. To rescue my other half, I needed to learn more. I had to understand the true nature of gods and demons. That was why I reached out to take that demon's hand. I accepted the offer from the demon. He became her child. Allan, what are you smiling about? The day Clarence adopted him. She was peering at my face as I awakened from my daydream.
まあ、うん。少し昔のことを思い出していたんだ。
Past?
うん。俺はもうずっと君を思って生きてきたんだって思い出していたんだ。
I was constantly amazed by just how much I loved her. I wanted to look at her deeply. I wanted to grab her hand. As I learned more about the truth, my wish became a prayer, a hope that she would not vanish. But my wish had been fulfilled. I grabbed her hand and whisked her away from the sky. Joy had mingled with guilt, and I still struggled to accept my demonic nature. My angelic image never left my mind. Even now, with my demon wing, I was reminded of the pure white wings I'd lost. I see. Thank you, Allan. You always cared about me. She hugged me. Still happy being with you, Allan. I love you.
君は。俺もだよ。すごく幸せだ。
I hugged her and took a deep breath. Her sweet and gentle scent tickled my nose. We were in a different place, but that scent reminded me of heaven's pure atmosphere. That lost sky that could be found right here with her. I allowed myself to relish in this overwhelming happiness. That is what happened when Allan fell from the sky. Episode 2, not 3. 2. There we go. We're gonna watch episode 2 now. Feathers are falling from the sky. Oh my goodness. Whenever I closed my eyes, a particular scenery always appeared. Heaven, the world of angels. It was where she and I were born. Back then we could not speak, we did not have voices. Even so, we deeply understood what was in each other's hearts. My feelings for her had never changed. My beloved other half, that adorable angel, was still smiling today. Is this going to be the CG that we get for this one? I already have this one, but I guess if I get, then this is going to be my thumbnail for this episode.
本当に君はいつも笑っているな。
I reached out and caressed her cheek. She closed her eyes and smiled as she nuzzled my hand. Joy welled up inside me and I felt the urge to hug her. But I wanted to look at her smile just a little longer, so I held her hand tightly and gazed at her face. That warm, small hand, she was the one who'd been encouraging me all that time. She smiled and gripped my hand in return, then she tugged me along and started flying. It was as if she was telling me to chase her. She spread her wings and soared, so I followed. If we could laugh, I believe we'd be laughing now. Every day was more filled with happiness. I cherished how it remained the same. Humans would often get bored, so they would try to change things, leading to conflict. We watched the human realm with curiosity, wondering why they did not experience peace like ours. Why couldn't humans live in harmony like the angels? We'd only known happiness since birth, so we couldn't understand why humans acted the way they did. But I did have one emotion that wasn't typical for an angel, and that was worry. I was different from other angels. I experienced anxiety. Whenever I lost sight of her, anxiety welled up inside me and I frantically started looking for her. Other paired angels didn't act like this. I felt out of place among them. I began to despise myself for my cowardice, which only deepened my melancholy. She'd always encourage me with a smile as if to say, "What would you do without me?" Whenever I looked anxious, she looked at me, doing her best to cheer me up. My love for her grew stronger every time she did. If there ever came a time she was afraid or anxious, I wanted to be the one to make her smile. I was determined to see her happy, so I pondered ways to ensure her joy. I learned how to make flower crowns, sandcastles, and hair ornaments adorned with feathers. I did it all thinking that it would make her happy. On that day, we were relaxing together in heaven. We hadn't been given any task by the gods. She looked bored, so I proposed a game of hide and seek. Hide and seek was one of her favorites. Her eyes sparkled at my suggestion. We played hide and seek all day.
次は俺が見つける番か。
She smiled wide as if to say, "Try and find me," then she flew away. I resisted the urge to follow her with my eyes, then covered my face and began to count.
1、2、3、4。
There were no rules about counting. She usually started to look for me after counting to 5. She would always find me easily. But I loved to see her look so proud when she managed to stay hidden for a long time, so I'd always count to 30. He's so sweet.
すぐに見つけちゃうとすねるしな。さっきもうっかりすぐに見つけちゃったし。
So he counts longer to make her think that he can't find her. She'd sulk and say, "I don't want to play anymore." I'd apologize and pick an easy hiding spot when it was her turn to seek. She puffed her cheeks out and gave me the cold shoulder. Although she still looked cute, I felt happiest when she smiled. So I spoiled her and began to count for longer. After I counted to 30, I began my search.
そこの結晶の影はと。
They peeked, but it was just another pair of angels. They're like, "What are you doing?" They looked surprised by my sudden appearance and flew away. As I watched the pair of angels fly off together, I wondered if that was how the others saw us.
と言っても、他の対の天使は人間界への仕事もバラバラにこなしているから、あんまり一緒にいないみたいだけれど。
In contrast, we always worked together, even in the human realm. Even if it took us longer to do our jobs, I cherished the time I spent with her. Whether in heaven or in the human realm, we were inseparable. Our closeness was particularly unique among angels, but I always had the desire to be by her side. Throughout the years, that had never changed. Whether or not this emotion was normal for an angel, I had no idea. But our bond felt deeper than any of the human relationships we witnessed during our assignments in the human realm. Humans of this era bickered and treated their own family like tools. To bring order to that world, the gods had to intervene. Those were the tasks that the angels had to complete. We were the representatives of gods. Our role filled us with great pride.
それにしても、なかなか見つからないな。本当に隠れるのが上手くなったんだから。
I looked all around heaven for her. I looked behind crystals, in the sand, in the seas, but she was nowhere to be found. Is this where she got taken by Mercury? Where was she? It was fun to look for her in the beginning, but I soon started to worry more and more. I couldn't do anything without her by my side. Yet I couldn't find her anywhere. It was as if she'd vanished into thin air.
消える。
Impossible. Heaven was devoid of any danger. Once that worry surfaced in my mind, it lingered and manifested with each passing moment. What started as worry soon became indescribable fear.
嫌だ。ねえ。君はどこにいる？
I then heard the familiar flutter of wings. She jumped out from behind her crystal that I had searched earlier. I win. That was what her smile said to me as she stood there proudly with her hands on her hips. Instant relief washed over me. On the verge of tears, I wrapped her in a tight embrace.
よかった。よかった。そばにいて。
I felt pitiful, getting emotional over a simple game. Even so, my feelings had overpowered me. I held her close. She gently patted my back to calm me down. Her touch was saying, "It's all right, I'm right here." I calmed down so suddenly by her presence that I began to doubt why I'd been so worried in the first place. The warmth of her wings felt so right in my arms. That was our daily life. It had been this way for years. Was I worried because we were always together?
でも、それでいい。君がいなくなる日なんて、俺は想像したくない。
Heaven was an eternal spring, a paradise where the concept of loss did not exist. Occasionally, we journeyed to the human realm for our divine duties, but humans couldn't spot us. No one could bring us harm. We were always guaranteed safety.
だから、こんな不安になる必要なんてないのにな。
When I let her go, I gave her a warm smile and she reciprocated. She patted me on the head with her tiny hands to console me. With my eyes closed, I enjoyed the sensation of her hand on my head, then I felt a playful pinch on my cheek. That had surprised me. I hadn't foreseen it at all. She's singing. Her laugh suggested that she enjoyed catching me off guard. It was like she was saying, "That's what you get for letting your guard down."
本当にこの子は相変わらず突拍子ないな。
But even though she'd acted like it was a prank, I knew she was doing it to cheer me up. That's why I loved her so. I softly pinched her cheek in return. It was very light. I didn't want to hurt her. She started to flap her wings, reprimanding me for it. But it was all in good fun. We were merely basking in each other's company. She tugged on my hand to tell me that she wanted to play some more. So I held her hand and spread my wings. In this warm and peaceful heaven, we took flight. In my heart, I believed this serene life would go on forever. I reveled in our happiness. Little did I know that there would come a future when we would be torn apart. I'd been arrogant. Perhaps that's why I'd received divine retribution. But in that moment, I was unaware. Even though the day where I lost her would come, I was happy that I had been born as her pair. She was my other half that could never be replaced. Is that the entire second episode? It was like a little reminiscent of Angel Days where they played hide and seek. I don't think the scene ever changed from that one scene with the floating feathers. Anyway, episode 3. Maybe we'll get a new CG in this one, hopefully. We continue to frolic together. Where are you? You look like you're in married— Oops. That's the only place I remember ever seeing this. Huh? That day after my salon appointment, I found Allan reading a book on the sofa. That was uncommon. But where are you? He seemed so lost in the pages that he failed to notice me enter the room. It was rare for Allan to be like this. I wonder if this is their second life that they took as humans when they were just exploring the world. But it's a good thing that he's able to relax. Before he became restless if I wasn't in his line of sight. He'd stick close to me whenever we went out. He would always be next to me. But earlier today, he saw me off with a smile, and now he was so focused on reading that he didn't notice me. I was relieved to see that he could finally relax when he was alone. But what's captured his attention? I became curious. I tiptoed closer to him to quietly take a peek. I noticed that Allan was barefoot while lying down. Usually he would at least wear socks. I looked at his pretty soles on his I looked at the pretty soles on his feet and got the sudden urge to play a prank on him. Speaking of which, Allan is really ticklish back when we were angels. I crept closer and saw my chance. Now. Oh my goodness. The moment I tickled the soles of his feet, Allan laughed much louder than I expected. My husband is super ticklish on his feet too, but he doesn't laugh. He just jerks his feet back and gives me a look. Allan spotted me. That was when I realized I messed up. Oh.
My honey.
That's funny. He's like, Lynette, how dare you? Allan slowly rose. He smiled as he usually did, but there was something ominous about it. Oops, I thought I may have taken the prank a bit too far. Sorry, Allan. I didn't think you'd react like that.
そっか。君が知らないはずはないんだけど。まあ予想外だったなら仕方ないよな。
I began to back away nervously, but before I could run away, he leapt and caught me. He grabbed the back of my neck and placed me down on the sofa as if he was disciplining a naughty cat. Oh my goodness, what do you mean? Allan, are you mad? Allan loomed over me, still maintaining that dark smile.
いいや。怒ってないよ。
I don't believe you. He's totally mad. Well, I just thought that it was rare that you didn't notice me when I came in. I wondered what could keep you so interested.
つい気になってくすぐっちゃった。
Sorry.
そういう悪いことをする子は。
Allan smirked and tried to tickle me back. This was bad. At this rate, I'd die from laughter. Desperate to change the subject, I picked up the book he was reading to divert his attention. So, what's this book about? Can I read it next? The second the book was in my hands, Allan froze. Curious about his mixed expression, I looked at the cover. It read, Most Recommended Places to Live. Oh, wait. We had just moved to this town 1 year ago. Was he already thinking about our next move? When we lived at our place on 9th Avenue, we'd obviously overstayed, leading people to throw rocks at us and calling us monsters.
たまにあるんだ。同じ場所に留まっているとさ。多分俺の見た目が変わらないから不気味に思ったんだと思う。大丈夫。これならまだ猶予はあるよ。でもそろそろ終わりが近いみたいだ。この家にいられるのはさ。ごめん。本当は分かっていたんだ。もうここにはいられないぐらい長居してるってこと。俺がもっと早くに言えばよかった。そうすればこんな石投げ込まれなかったのに。でもここは気に入っていたから、ついもう少しだけって欲張りすぎたんだ。本当ならもっと早くここを出るべきだった。ごめん。こんな目に合わせて。
The pain had been evident on Allan's face. It wasn't the name-calling that hurt him, but the fact that he couldn't prevent those things from happening to me. Is that why he wants to move before people get suspicious? Allan looked away a bit awkwardly when I stared at him.
ほら、この間の引っ越しでは急いでたから、一旦ロサンヨークの中で引っ越しちゃったけどさ。そろそろ ロサンヨークからも出た方がいいと思ったんだ。どこで知り合いに会うかわからないからね。
He mumbled that last bit, trying to explain his reasoning. He'd been reading it so intently that I thought it would be some sort of great story. But instead, he'd just been trying to make sure we'd be able to maintain a human lifestyle. He was always going out of his way to make sure I was happy. I wish he did things for himself more often. Oh, please. I thought we'd talk about it together when things came up.
ごめん。君にはまだ考えないで過ごしてもらいたかったんだ。せっかくこの家も気に入ってたみたいだしさ。
But you can't take everything on alone. I keep telling you, but you keep things bottled up. The reason I love it here is because of you. Anywhere is home as long as you're with me. This is our problem. It's not just your burden to bear, Allan.
そうかもしれないけれど。でも俺が君を空から連れ去ったんだ。だからせめて。
It was always the same. This former thieving parasite always acted like everything was his fault. No matter what he was called, I didn't want him to feel guilty. Oh, come on. I'm here because I love you, Allan. If you're going to be such a stubborn bad boy, then... Oh, goodness, a stubborn bad boy. I pushed him down and started tickling his sides. Look at that face, man. Like, no.
何ちょっと待って
That's what you get, tickle tickle. I did exactly where he was most ticklish. After all, we were paired angels. Allan contorted his body and started to laugh and scream at the same time.
ごめん、もう許した
Oh my goodness. Then will you promise to not bottle everything up? Will you consult with me too?
するかもうダメだってばダメ
Gasping for air, he slapped the couch and surrendered. I gave up. His position told me that he admitted defeat, so I finally stopped tickling him.
もう
That's funny. It reminds me of Chi. When was Chi gasping like that? Oh, when he skydived, not skydived. He jumped off of the tower, battle tower. I think that was it. He just came back panting. His shoulders were still twitching as he hunched over. He kept laughing. Did I overdo it? A memory from heaven flashed in my mind. Even though he couldn't speak back then, I remembered that when I tickled Allan, he'd become paralyzed in the same way. But I got carried away.
よくも
My
や
goodness.
ってくれたね。次は俺の番だ。
He's got his sinister voice now. He retaliated, his fingers nimbly dancing over my most sensitive spots. Ah, no more! I'm not laughing like him. I'm sorry.
仕返しだよ、ほら。
Oh my goodness. No, please, no more. I didn't do this much to you.
いや、ここまでやられたんだ。ほら。
Oh my goodness. I give up, I tell you. This time I was the one signaling my defeat by tapping the cushion. Tap tap. like if they're in a wrestling match. Allan acknowledged my surrender and stopped immediately. It's funny. I thought I was going to die.
言っとくけど俺もだからね。
Sorry, okay, I overdid it. All I wanted was to draw out his laughter, to break through the walls he put up around himself. But along the way, I got lost in the joy of hearing his laughter. Back in heaven, we couldn't hear each other laugh.
まあ、いいけどね。君のその声を聞けたし。
Allan seemed to be thinking the same thing. He closed his eyes to reminisce as he pulled me onto his lap. He wiped away my tears of laughter. Our eyes locked, and we shared a gentle kiss. Allan. When I held him tight, I noticed his shoulders twitch in anticipation of another tickle. It's endearing how ticklish he is. He said he committed crimes after becoming a demon. I assumed he had stopped being ticklish by now, but he was the same. That simple detail made me happy for some reason. We continued to change our home and lifestyle, but this part would never change. After a year, we'd leave this house. I wondered where we'd go next. I noticed the book still on the sofa. I was eager to flip through the pages and discuss where we would go. But for now, I wanted to simply remind him of my love. Though we would sometimes get sad or lonesome, he'd always be my ticklish Allan. Allan, I love you.
俺もだ。愛してる。
We expressed our love with words and kissed again. I wanted him to feel more at ease. We shared our warmth, reassuring each other that we would be together no matter the place. I didn't want Allan to make that face again. I didn't want him to bear everything alone. One day I was sure he would be able to smile with his mind at peace. Until then, I continued to encourage him and bring a smile to his face. Holding onto that thought, I placed my arms around his neck. Aw, let's hope for a second CG. One that doesn't have Allan's face all contorted in pain and agony. I might still use the angel one anyway, just because I really like it. And Allan looks strangely in pain in the other one. I don't know. Maybe I'll use the other one. It's a new one. Anyway, that's it for Allan. I'm almost sad for this to be over. I say almost because, you know, it's been like a year, so. It's been since October that I started this. But I am partial to Allan. I do really like Allan, but I like Jupiter's too, and Jupiter's was good. Allan's was slow, but I still like him nonetheless. Allan still has my loyalty, even though his story wasn't as good. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy, drop a like down below and or subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys watch Battlefield Waltz, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.